Economy and jobs and that, but obviously that will go to page 2 for the moment. Your reaction initially to what we're seeing out of Libya?
Well, I hope this is true. I mean, this is a good day when you think about, imagine, 4 decades of this dictator murdering and putting his thumb on top of this entire country. This is something that they've been fighting for a long time.
You think about Berlin in 1986.
Yeah.
I think about the raid that followed there in Tripoli and Benghazi by our own U.S. military. Yeah. You think about Pan Am Flight 103, 270, many of which were Americans in 1988.
And you wonder
you
how
think
long
about the WMD development that was happening at least until a few years ago in Libya.
And you think about, you look at the streets, the excitement there, but it's the excitement that they're going to feel freedom. How many family members do they know that have been murdered by this individual? 4 decades of it. You wonder, why did it take so long? Why did it have to last? And you got that internal uprising itself, where this is a good day when this was brought to justice. There's still a lot of work going to be done, because you want to make sure that this new government doesn't fall into any of the past behaviors, gets the democracy that they desire and why they rose up.
And on that point, can they define democracy today? Because don't you walk with a sense of caution and trepidation, not knowing what's behind door number 2 here?
I do, from a couple different reasons. One, they don't know democracy, so they don't know what it is. And two, when you have an uprising like this, sometimes people wait in the background that are more organized to be able to win an election or others. And their idea, what you had with Iran during their revolution and others, you get more repression in there. So what we want to look to is make sure we help them in this role. We find other countries that have gone through, especially when you go through the Eastern Bloc, those countries that have been able to grow for democracy and out and
But
repression.
In Eastern Europe, those governments have taken a form of democracy much like our own.
Yes.
In the Middle East, they've defined it in their own terms. And today, we don't know what's going to happen in Tripoli. You know, there was a report, and I talked to John Bolton about it 30 minutes ago. They did a study on foreign fighters in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and they found an enormously high percentage of foreign fighters coming from towns in northern Libya. How do we deal with that?
It's difficult, because that's all they've known for so long. And you've got to make sure you work through this. I was with the Czech president a month ago, and that was one of his concerns, going into this Arab Spring. Show them their desire, if they want freedom, the way to have democracy that is fair and open, one that doesn't take them backwards but takes them forward.
All right, we're going to put this on pause just for a moment here, okay? We're working for more confirmation from the White House, the State Department. When all that comes rolling in here, we'll get back to that. But in the meantime, the White House is pushing for this $35 billion jobs bill. They say it will prevent the layoffs of teachers and police and firefighters. Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, says that government jobs should be protected because he argues that they are on the increase. That's been disputed. Republicans say that jobs plan is more the same. It is stimulus 2.0. It means spending more money, and it also means higher taxes. From the Senate floor, watch this.
It's very clear that private sector jobs have been doing just fine. It's the public sector jobs where we've lost huge numbers.
Let's forget about the tax hikes. Let's drop the talking points about millionaires and billionaires, and let's work together on bipartisan jobs legislation that's designed to pass, not designed to fail.
So there was the rebuttal to Harry Reid. Since 2009, private sector jobs have declined by more than 1.5 million. Total public sector jobs have declined by 600,000. Federal government jobs are actually up around 30,000. I want to bring the congressman back in on all that. Harry Reid's office came out a little later in the afternoon saying he was just trying to point out a fact about job losses in the public sector. On the face of it, what do you think of this?
This just shows why they're so off base. This shows they don't see what's really happening out in this country. The idea that you're going to protect more government jobs. Well, who pays for the government jobs but the private sector? Why we're hurting? It's small business that needs to get created. And the other part they have, we've already done this before. $1 trillion. When you take the interest in the stimulus. It cost $278,000 per job. It failed, and they want to do it again. The country's looking for something different. Instead of short-term, let's solve the problem long-term.
Well, now, you're in Congress, but before your life in Congress, you were a private business owner.
When I was 20 years old, I started my first small business. And the idea, if you go and you look from the end of the last recession, 2001, to the beginning of this recession, 2007, good time in America. You look what jobs were created. If you were a company and you had 500 employees or fewer, you added 7 million jobs. If you were a company with 500 employees or more, you cut 1 million. Small business is the backbone of what creates this. And the entrance to market is too high. Fortune's coming out and saying the #1 person under 40 is Mark Zuckerberg. He started his business in a dorm room. And how many employees does he have at Facebook today? Stephen Jobs, sad day, he passed away. He started in a garage.
Started in a garage. Now listen, this debate's going to continue. There are moderates on the Senate side who don't want it. They're on record as saying that.
Yes.
You have 13 months before an election. What will pass, if anything?
Look, I'm hopeful they put the politics aside, the president gets off the campaign trail. Get off that bus, get back to Washington, let's work together. Let's be Americans first. Stop dividing this country. Be the president to all Americans. You know, this class 4 warfare is not going to work. So what has to happen and what can pass, when we go back in next week, we're going to pass the 3% holding. Pull it back. Government should not hold back the money from small business. It's their money, not Washington's money. We just passed the free trade agreements. We have 13 bills sitting in the Senate, job creation from energy policy and others, that haven't even seen the light of day. Let the idea win. Let the debate happen. Let's not pick an election. Let's put people before politics.
Kevin McCarthy, thank you for your time. We'll see if any of these ideas go anywhere.
Well, we're hopeful.
It's good to see you in person, okay?
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Martha has more now.